Hey guys, very good evening to you. And in this video we are going to talk about some of the very important functions. And as you can see on the screen, I have written here a couple of date functions which you must know if you really want to be a master in the VBA functions, because you see that in every this database, if you are working on any of the database to do analysis, we always come across the dates, and we always come across the questions like how to extract the month, how to add the months or the years or the date, how to find the difference between them, how to segregate the date into, let's say, day and maybe a month or a year. There are a lot of things which we are going to discuss today. So I'm going to discuss in this video number 231 four functions, basically: date, add, date difference, which is date diff actually, and date part and format. Hope you are going to learn today a lot of things in this video. All right, so let's go ahead and let's quickly start. And if you're watching the channel for the first time, then please guys, on my channel we have already created, we have already uploaded 230 videos on Excel VBA, MS Access and Access VBA. You can go to the playlist and you can find all these categories which we have created, and based on these categories you can just click on the required one, and you will find a lot of good videos over there, the combination of basic and the advanced videos, right? So in this video we're going to clearly talk about the VBA functions, and at the end of the video I will show you that how you can look at this. In fact, let me just tell you, you can click here, and these are the few videos which I have uploaded so far on the VBA functions. Right now in this video, what we are actually going to do is we are going to talk about the by default functions in the date, in the date family. And as I already said, we are going to talk about the DateAdd, DateDiff, DatePart and format. So after this video you will be able to answer these questions. I have summarized these questions, and basically these are the questions, and the questions related to these questions you can easily resolve them. You can easily make the codes, you can easily make the Excel VBA codes, and you can carry out your day-to-day activities. So how to add the days to a specific date, how to add the months or the years to a specific date, and what will be the new date after adding days, months, years, or maybe if you want to find the difference between the two dates, right? So how to find the difference between the two dates, and difference in terms of the days, in terms of the month, in terms of the years. There are a lot of things. How to extract the day, month or year, and how to format the date as well. We are going to also have some light on the format function. I'm going to throw some light on this function so that you can use it. Trust me, they are very wonderful functions, right? So these are the formats basically, and I will be telling you side by side when we're going to make the code. So let's go ahead and in this module 2, first of all, let us write some macro. So date functions, let's say this is how we are going to start. Okay, now in this date function, the first function which we are going to do is let's say we cover the date add function. Okay, so to give you the understanding on this, let's just write here m as date, and let's say we're going to give a date to m, and this is how we get the date. So I'm going to write here 13th October, which is the today date, 2016. Okay, and let's just write it with the hash. So now this m actually has a date, which is today date, actually 13th of October, right? This is 13th of October because my system works on the format called mmdd, right? If your system works on the ddmm, then you need to provide the date system accordingly, right? If you don't know, then just go to the control panel, and there you will find out what exactly is your the date format. For example, when you go to the control panel, let me just tell you, if you want to also change the format, because generally in every machine we have a format called your mmdd, right? If you want to change it, if you have a ddmm and you want to change it to mmdd because you find it a little difficult, or maybe whatever you want to do, just go to this clock language and year. I guess that is the option. Let me just quickly click here, and yeah, there we go, set the date and the time, right? So when you click on this date and time, you can change the date and time from here, right? So if I just go ahead and try to change this, let's just have a look here. So this is going to change the date, but this is not what exactly I was looking. So let me click on the change calendar setting, and this is what exactly, you know, you see that you have a different format here. DD means date, MM means month, and YY obviously, you know, that year, right? So you can change the dates from here, but I'm not going to do that because I'm good with this MM and DD format. Okay, so that was just the additional information for you. Now what is the first thing we want to do? So let's say what we want to do is, let me write the question here. How to what will be the date, what will be the date if I add, let's say, 5 days to the M, okay, to the M, which is your date called 13th of October. So how are you going to write this? Okay, so let's take the example of the message box. I'm going to display that in the message box, and this is how you write DateAdd. Okay, once you write the DateAdd, now this is a VBA function, right? You will not see this function in the Excel. Let me first clear you this you know, particular, because this question may come in your mind. So do we have a DateAdd? We don't have any DateAdd in the Excel, by the way, right? Because in the Excel you can add the date simply by using the plus. I mean, there are a number of ways. Let's not discuss about the Excel functions because this is completely VBA video. So we are going to use the DateAdd function. So a couple of functions, guys, you will see both in Excel and Excel VBA, and a couple of things you may see in the Excel but not in the VBA, and couple of functions, you know, couple of things you may see in the VBA but not in Excel. VBA, I mean Excel VBA, right? So now interval means that what exactly you want to add. Now I want to add a date called 5, right? So how are you going to add it? If you look at this, there are 3 parameters. One is the interval and the number and the date. So interval means that if you want to consider, if what you want to add is, if that is going to be a date, then you need to use this format. That's why I have, you know, already written this format for you. Now D means day, so you're going to write here D within the quotes. Now what is the next parameter? Number. So how many numbers? So as I said, we need to add 5 days, right? So what is your date? You know that your date is actually M, right? So you can also write the date directly here. I mean, that is not the problem. You can simply write here 10/39, you know, /2016. So that's all up to you. I mean, how you want to do that. So let's go ahead and let's run this code and let's have a value. Now look at this. So it says 18th of October, which is perfect, right? Because today is, as I said, that we have given this 13th of October. So if you add the 5 days, then obviously you would see the 18th of October, right? But what if you don't want to add the, let's say, days, you want to add month? So what you need to do, have a look. You need to remember this, and this is very simple actually. You can even Google it. I mean, you will find, guys, thousands of links, so really don't need to, you know, even remember it. So the moment I'm going to add M, now what should be the next date? I think it is going to add 5 months from now. So today is October, so November, December, and then Jan, and then Feb, and March, right? So let's just quickly run this. Let me run this and let's have a look here. It should be 2017. There we go, guys. So you see that we got that month called 13th of March 2017 as expected, right? Perfect. Okay, so again, if you want to add 5 years, then you need to write double while, and don't forget to put the within the quotes, right? So I'm going to click here, and you see that 2021 is coming with the 13th of October. There is no change in the dates, there is no change in the month, but we have a change in the year, right? So this is a cool, right? I just love this function. This makes our work so easy, right? Now this is the date difference function, DateAdd function, I beg your pardon. Now what if let me just copy the function again, and let's go here, and the another function which you want to discuss is date difference function. Okay, so like you always have the need, just 1 second. Okay, now you always have a need of adding the dates, but at the same time you may also have a need of subtracting the dates, right? So what if you want to subtract the, you know, 2 dates, and I want to find out that how many days are there between the 2 dates, right? So for example, let me declare here 2 dates. One is this, and one is, again, I'm going to declare n as date, and let's say we're going to declare n as maybe I can declare that 1st January, or you can say that let's declare it as 30th of September, right? 30th of September, and this is how we're going to declare it. And let me put the hash, and yeah, there we go. Now what will be the question would change. What will so we can write here how many days we have between these two dates. Let's say this is what exactly you want to do. Okay, so in this case, now what you need to do is you need to use the date difference function, which is date diff, right? You don't have to write any space that. You write here date diff interval as string. Again, what do you want to find? I want to find out the days. So for the day, you know that I'm going to use D, right? Capital D or small d, whatever you want to use it. It is case insensitive. And the date one, so date one is going to be, let's say, the M, and the date, the another date is going to be the end date. Okay, so I think you keep the shorter date first. Okay, so I'm gonna keep here N, and I'm gonna keep here M. I'm not sure about that, but let's just have a look. If this runs, then that means we are correct, right? The bigger date comes at the end. Okay, so now we know the answer. The answer should come as it's 13, and from 13, if you subtract 30 from 13, so obviously I think we should be getting here 12 or 13 days, I believe. Let's just quickly run this. Ambiguous name detected. I beg your pardon, we have to change the macro name because you can't keep the same macro again. All right, so now let us go ahead and run this. Okay, as expected, so we got the difference between the dates, right? So in this way you can also calculate the number of days, in a year, or whatever you want to do, guys. And instead of writing this M and N here, you can also directly write the number, days also here. For example, I can also write the date function here, date. You know what this will give you? What if you run this? Let me hit on the run. You get the same answer. Why? Because this date means that it is going to return the today date, and today is your actually 13th of October when I'm recording this video, right? So I mean, not necessarily you have to declare it. You can also write the date here in this form as well, simply using the date function, right? So again, you can change, guys, these the formats. Let's say we want to find out the year, the difference between these two dates, so you know that the answer should be 0. So let's just run it because we have the same year, right? And similarly, if you want to find out the difference between the months, so you can write here M, and I guess the answer should come as 1. Let's have a look, and there we go, as expected. So this is cool again, right? Date diff function. So in this way, guys, you can use this date difference function, date diff, basically we use it, right? So now what is the next thing we want to do? Let's say maybe you can find out, what if you want to find out that in this particular date, what is the day or the month or the year, if you want to extract it, right? So let's just go ahead and do this as well, and let me copy the code, and let's just press enter, and we're going to paste it here. I'll change the name to 3, the macro name, and here what we want to do is we want to find the DatePart function. Okay, so for this I don't require the end part actually. I just declare this one date, and now let's say this is your date, which is 13 October, and you want to extract the month. Okay, so in that case, first of all, let me change the heading as well. So extract the month part. Okay, so now how are you going to write it? So remember, if you want to extract something, then you got to use the DatePart function. So we are going to use the DatePart function, start the bracket. Now we have the parent, these parameters. So interval is string. So I want to get the month. So for the month, I know that M is going to be used. One thing is very useful, that these M, Y, and Y, maybe the quarter, they are used in the same way, in the similar way. So it's not that for the date part it is used in a different format, and for the another function, date diff, it is used in a different way. No, it's not that. That's the beauty of these functions, right? That's the beauty of, I would say, the actual VBA, right? So all right, so now date, we want to find out the date. So date, that, guys, the date is M. So I'm going to declare here my M. Now remember, M is your variable actually, right? And this M is your basically this M. So maybe we can do one thing. Why don't we just go ahead and change this, because this looks a little confusing. So I'm just going to write here my date, right? Just that is going to be my variable, my date, and here I'm going to write here my date. my date. Okay, and of course the code should not come because it's a variable. All right, so now let me just hit on this and let's see what is the value we're going to get here. All right, so it says 10, and 10 is, you know, that 10th is October month, so we are good here. And what if I need the year? So I'll just write here year and let me execute it. It's 2016. Perfect. And what if you need the your day? So you got to write here D, right? And now it should give me the 13th, right? And there we go, guys. So we got the 13th here. So in this way, you know, you can actually bifurcate this. You can basically segregate everything. You can extract whatever you want actually, and you can use them in your Excel sheet, you know, or wherever, I mean, you want to use it, right? So now how about using this W, which is a weekday? I'm not sure whether this can be used, but let's just have a look on this W. I'm gonna write here W, and let's just write it. There we go, guys. So it is working actually. It is saying as 5. Now why it is saying 5? Because today is, when I'm recording the video, you know, it's 13. So 13th means that it is actually your Thursday, right? So Thursday, if you start calculating from Sunday, which is a by default option, Sunday is 1, Monday is 2, and then Tuesday is 3, and then Wednesday is 4, and Thursday is 5, right? So it's giving you the correct answer, right? So if I'm going to change this to, let's say, 14, then what should be the answer? Then the answer should be 6. Yeah, that's correct, right? So now you must be thinking that why it is counting Sunday as 1. Well, that's a by default option actually, right? If you go in and search on this DatePart function, you will understand, but you have a choice. I mean, in this my date parameter, if you want to consider, let's say, Monday as first day, you can use this. By default, this is the VB Sunday, right? So if I choose this Monday, then that means if today is 13th, as we know, right? So 13th means that if Monday is going to be 1, so Thursday, today is Thursday, so it should be 4 actually, right? Let me just hit on this, and there we go, guys. So depending upon your requirement, you know, you can actually do the things, you can do the changes here. That's a good point we are covering here, right? All right, so now this is the end of this date functions, and there's one more thing, very important thing, which you should understand, that how to use the format function. Now format function is actually used to format the things. For example, let's say you want to format your date. Now let me give you a very small example. So this is your date which you have seen here, right? That's the date. So let's say what I want to do is, or maybe I can do one thing. Let's go ahead and change this date to now function. Okay, if you have seen the previous video where I have talked about the, you know, these time functions, where we covered this hour, minute, and second, then you know that this now basically gives you the time and the date. And this function is available in Excel also. If I just press enter, you see that this is going to give you the time and the date as well, right? So what if you want to what you want to do is you want to get only the date from this, let's say. So you can use the format, and then you can write the expression. Expression is your this variable my date, right, which is going to give you the time and the date together. And if you want to change this to, let's say, something like this, you want that I'm gonna write here DD and then MM and then YY. I don't need the time, I only need the date format, right? So if you go ahead and run this code, now have a look on this my date. Let me just show you in the my date. Let me add the watch here. Now you see that it's 13th October and this is the time exactly 11:30 AM, right? So I want to change this. So if I want to change this, then this is how the format function returns. You see that now it has changed the order. This is DDMMYY, right? So 13th October and year. So this is also a function, very useful function. Now for example, instead of the DDMMYY, I'm going to make it MM, and I'm going to write it DD only. Now if I run this, see what will happen. You got the 13th October in the different format, right? So similarly, if you add here, let's say 4 times YY. Okay, now if I run this, let me just run it from here. There we go, guys. Now you see that this is the date, this is the time, and the answer should come as MM and DD and then Y 4 times Y, 2016, right? Not only this, I mean, you can do a lot of things. For example, if I write here triple M, and now if I run this, see this, triple M is going to change it to a month. Right now you will not see the number, it is going to give you OCT, October, right? If you further go ahead and do this 4 times M, run this, look at this, it's going to give you the complete format cell, right? If you want to use the same function in Excel, you don't have a format function here, remember, okay? But you have a function called text. The same way you use this text function, you choose the date and you provide the format. So in Excel it is text, and in VBA it is called the format function. So if I add further here like this, 4 times MM and then D, and then let's do one thing, let's just add 3 times DDD. Now you run this and have a look. See this, guys, it's telling you the 4 times M because you have written there October, and then MM is giving you the number for the month, and then you also have written this, you know, DDD, right? So it's giving you the week also, sorry, the day also, right? Today is Thursday, as I was telling you earlier, and the date is 13th. So you can do a lot of experiments with this, right? So let me just maximize this. And so these are the 4 functions, guys, which we have covered, and they are very useful. And if you know their concepts, you can use them in the Excel. I mean, you can definitely use these values in the code and you can take them to the Excel. No, I mean, that depends upon the question, right, on the task, but you should be thorough with these date functions, right? So that's it for now. And if you have, as I said, you know, if you're watching the channel for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, guys. And here I have created all the playlist here, and you can need to go to this Excel VBA function, and you can also have a look on these videos, right, where we have created our own functions also. So I will be back with some more exciting stuff. Until then, you take care of yourself and have a very happy learning. Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.